Kota na akong hanggang July. Hey Film Flips, Alan here again. Now what you saw is my current workload. Hopefully I could finish all of that before the month of July. And I just want to apologize for those people who still want to send out their cameras. We are actually fully booked right now, but once I'm finished with that batch and I'm ready to accept new cameras to be serviced, I will post that on our Facebook page as well. Now remember our first episode, that Pentax Spotmatic quick fix. Now one of the cameras still jams even if you put some lube on the gear. Now I mentioned that we are going to do a follow-up video on that, and today is that day. We are going to finally overhaul this Spotmatic SP. Now if you haven't watched that video yet, then we're gonna put a link here so that you can watch that as well. So we are going to take this camera apart and finally overhaul it. Alright, so as always, we will begin with the tools that we're going to use. Flathead screwdriver and a modified Phillips 00. Also, we're going to use a spanner, some cleaning materials, and a hot soldering iron. So normally, if you're going to seal a Spotmatic, you'll begin with the bottom part, like we did on previous video for a Spotmatic lube, and then the top portion. But since we're going to overhaul this, we are going to start on the front. As you can see, the mirror after that video started to work again. It just needs time for the lube to get in. But since we're going to overhaul this, I'll show you how to time the lever so that it will not hang on the 1/1 second. Alright, so let's begin with the front. We're going to remove the self-timing lever with a spanner. Okay, unscrew it counterclockwise. Okay, that's alright. Okay, and then we're going to take out this 3 screws. This is the early version. That's why you have a flat screws on the self-timing mechanism. Also be careful with this, not to lose it. Sometimes that pops off. You can take out the leather skin and then also peel off the skin here. Next thing you need to do is to take out this 5 Phillips or cross point screws. This. Somebody replaced this with a flat one. So I guess this one has been opened before. So we're going to replace that screw. So 5, this one, and then this one. Alright, for the last screw. Okay, once you have the last screw out, just lift this front plate. See? That's why this is easy to service. Okay, let's take out this one for the self-timing, because you have access on the self-timer if it jams. Also, you can see and service the mirror mechanism here. That's how it works. So normally, after you've serviced this and then it's still catching on the mirror, you can just move this up, that one. But let's proceed with the overhaul. Also be wary of the spacers. If it has one, like this one, get that before you lose it. Set aside. And then we will remove the bottom part. 4 screws. Okay, so bottom plate is off. You can get a better view here on how it works. Alright, so as you can see here, it hangs on the edge on a 1/1 second. Alright, normally when that happens, this mirror box is not aligned. That's why it's catching on this. Maybe it's shifted towards here. So once you've taken this out, or once you'll have access on the top, what you can do is unscrew it, this one and this one, also on the top, and then shift it towards to the left, so that this arm that is connected on the mirror box will gain more space here, so that it will not catch on the lever here. Right, so you don't need to actually file that off. You just need to properly align the mirror box. And I'll show you once we have the top off. To remove the top portion, we'll start with the rewind knob. Open this up. Okay, and then get something to wedge the rewind fork here. Right, wedge that, and then counter clockwise. Okay, and then you'll have the decorative screw plate. Get your spanner, counterclockwise, unscrew the decorative screw plate. Next thing you need to unscrew is, or take out, is the frame counter cover. Get your smallest flat screwdriver. There are 3 screws that you need to unscrew. You don't need to take this out, just unscrew it. Right. Next thing that we need to do is somewhat unique with the Pentax system. Normally, the SP or the Spotmatic series, up to, I guess up to the MX, the lock here is a reverse thread. So in order for you to unscrew it, you have to go clockwise. This also goes with the Pentax 6.7. So you just need to unscrew it clockwise. It's reverse thread. And some people don't know that. That's why they strip the screws here. But if you already worked on a Pentax system camera, you know that by heart. Okay, once you remove that frame counter, you'll see another screw lock here. And most of the time, this also unscrews clockwise, so it's also a reverse thread. But some units that I got sometimes screws counterclockwise, so be wary on unscrewing that. Don't force it. If it doesn't want to give, try to unscrew it or reverse the thread. Okay, let's see if this is reverse thread or not. Okay, so it's still reverse thread. Unscrew it clockwise. Okay, and then lift this up. And then you'll see I think this one has been opened before. The screws doesn't match. Let's unscrew that. Those 3 screws. This one is a cross point, and the other 2 are flat. Okay, once you've unscrewed the 3 screws for that holder, get your spanner and then take that out. This is a lock, sort of a lock washer. Once you have that on the slots, you can get your advance lever. And there is a plastic washer and a screw. So unscrew that as well. And then lastly is the shutter knob. Set that shutter speed to bulb and set the ASA to the highest. This one is it? I think this was dropped. No, somebody just assembled it incorrectly. So the only thing you need to do is unscrew this, and this is a normal thread, so unscrew it counterclockwise. Alright, so you have this whole assembly out. Lift this up. Alright, so you will have a naked Spotmatic. Alright, so next thing we need to do is take out the prism. You can use one of these. It's a angled plier. Take out the support, prism cover, and you see the prism. Okay, to take that out, get a flat screw, unscrew the lock. So that's your prism. Let's clean this up. This is the foam seal. So next thing we need to do, since this is an overhaul, we should be servicing the shutter mechanism or the shutter escapement. And the shutter escapement is hidden here. So what we need to do is to take out the mirror box. We need to unsolder these two wires, this one and this one. Yeah, this blue wire. Let's just unsolder this for. Okay, let's get the soldering iron. Next thing we need to do is to take out the mirror box. Okay, unscrew these two screws that holds the mirror box. So remove 4 screws and see if it's going to lift up. Hold your mirror box here. It is going. There you go. So this is the mirror box. If you're going to replace the focusing screen, you need to remove these 3 screws. And if you want to replace the same goes with if you want to replace the meter, just take this whole thing. You can take this out because there is also another pulley system or gear on the other side. So take the tripod thread mount. Alright, so you'll see 2 screws here, so that you can take out the shutter escapement. But before you do that, make sure you know how to replace it. There is a latch here. You should put that here. So you can pull out your shutter escapement. Oh, I see. See that lube? It's not supposed to be like that. So what we need to do is to clean that up. Right, so this is also a good time to inspect the rollers. Okay, seems to be okay with me. Even the shutter curtain is okay. For the shutter escapement, what I do most of the time is just to sink it or dip it on a self-profile bath, right? And then work on it. Yeah, seems to be okay. Alright, so this one is okay. We just need to put some lube. Right, again with the watch oil. Just put some, just a dot. Also on the other side. throw that out. To me this is okay. Just need to replace it again on the latch lever here. Okay, and then get your screws. Align that screw hole. Bango naman. I can smell danggit. Someone's already preparing for their breakfast at 4 a.m. Alright, so the shutter escapement is back on the chassis. Alright, and then the next thing we need to check is the mirror box. Again, clean this out. You just need to put some lube here, and the pivot here, and I think here. Okay, so we're going to replace it on the body. With a note that we are going to align this so that even the 1/1 second is going to work. What you need to align is this arm should hit this arm here or lever here so that it can, once the mirror bounces back, when you cock it, you can trigger it. You need to put this on the not engaged position. What you can do is to grab this lever here and then push this one backward. Right, so that's the engaged position where the mirror is up. What we need is the, there you go, it's the idle position. Right, and then what we need to do is this lever here should hit this one, and this arm lever here should go in between this one, should go in between here. So let's try that. Right, so this one should go here. Okay, let's try to put some screws. Start from the bottom. Okay, so once you've placed all 4 screws, the support screw or guide screw and then the locking screw here for your mirror box, let's place the spring back on the mirror arm lever. Make sure that's in the hole. There we go. And then screw this back in. There we go. And let's try to fire it. Firing. This is in bulb, so we need to test the 1/1 second. There we go. There you go. So once you have the mirror box in the right position, or it's aligned correctly, your 1 second should not hang. And you don't need to file this out. Alright, so we are going to resolder the wires and then clean the viewfinder glass. Also, if you want, you can clean this carefully with a cotton swab and a lens tissue. There you go. Okay, that's the wires. Black on the edge, yellow on the meter. There we go. So I always flatten my cotton swabs. Put some cleaning solution there. And clean your okay, you can clean this, but very carefully. Right, that's how you clean it, because this is just glass, it's not Fresnel glass. Be careful on the needle arm. On the prism, you can do that as well. Alright, secure the screw. Secure the prism. Replace the cover. Box springs. Okay, let's get the other one. Now you just hook it here. As you can see that. Let's just hook that there. Then grab your wire. Hook that in. Okay, so we're halfway there. Since we've serviced the front already, if we're going to go to do an extra mile, you can replace the mirror bumper, but you can close the front now. So it normally goes up and down, but you need to lube this one, or you can also clean it. Okay, secure it with the screws that we took out, and don't forget the washers. Alright, so once you have the washers, spacers, just back the front plate, then secure the screws. Alright, so next thing to do is just put the this one back. Wait, this is cross pointing down. Someone really played with this camera. And then we will put back the top cover. Alright, so let's clean this one. Right, so once you have the top plate cleaned, put some grease here so that it will hold when you're going to replace it. Okay, let's also just place the bottom part. Because I have the screws here. Okay, 2 large screws outside, 2 small screws inside. Alright, and then let's put the screw here. Okay, and then the plastic screw or plastic spacer. Okay, and then this plate. Okay, the next thing we need to put back is the shutter knob. So what you need to do is to see that slot there, that should go here. Okay. Once you have that place, get your spring. It's a cone shape, so the smaller ring goes on top. Then your ISO or ASA dial, this slot here goes on that slot as well. Alright, and then since we placed that on bulb, it should be near bulb. Okay, once you have that in, replace the that washer and then that washer. this is reverse thread, so it locks counter clockwise. Okay, once you have that tight, open up your film door and then set that on 0 and then screw, which is also a reverse thread, so it locks counterclockwise, and then get your frame counter cover, close this so you can get that aligned. So just advance it twice. Alright, then last thing we need to do is to put in the cover plate. And the screw. That's a screw plate. Only thing we need to do is to put the self-timer screws. Now you can do the you can assemble this back once you've glued this. Alright, so and the other one. Alright, and then just again replace the whole assembly for the self-timer, and then you're good to go. Oops, don't forget this one. There you go. So that's about it. That's how you overhaul it. So I'm going to put in some contact adhesive later, and then assemble this back, and then maybe I can put in some mirror bumpers after. But basically that's how you do how you overhaul a Spotmatic SP. Alright, so this one will work again for another 10 years. Alright, so that's how you overhaul a Pentax Spotmatic SP. Hopefully you got something out of it. Now, as the title suggests, we are going to do that film camera giveaway. Our friends from film photography community was so kind enough to donate these items. Julia and Boyet of Film4Ever sent us a Pentax Spotmatic SP. Now, Film4Ever is an online film camera store. They have an Instagram and a Facebook account. If you're still looking for that first film camera, or you just want to add up on your collection, do check them out. Now, for the camera itself, it has a better cosmetic than the one in service, and of course we are going to service this fully before we send this out to the new owner. For the lens, we have a 55 1.8 Takumar lens. Now, this was donated by Aislinn Chuayok of FilmFolk. FilmFolk is where you can get your negatives to supply your film addiction. They also have a web page, an Instagram, and a Facebook page as well. So how can you get this camera? First off, you need to be subscribed to this channel. But the moment that we get that 200 subscription, we are going to roll this out, and the only thing you need to do is to write down on the comment section why we should give this camera to you. Or if you know someone who really deserves this camera, just write that down below. Now, even if we get that 200 subscription, I will still give a week for your entries, and then after that I'll choose the right person for this camera. Again, I'd like to thank our sponsors for this giveaway, Film4Ever and FilmFolk. Thank you guys. Thanks. And as always, if you find this video helpful, just click on the like button, and if you still haven't, please click on the subscribe button. Again, Alan here from Film Strip Flips, and you have a good one.